I'm Shannon Miller with the Miller Elder Law Firm. And I want to talk today a little bit about an update on visiting our loved ones in skilled nursing facilities after the CMS guidelines, which came out on September 17th, 2020, and the new governor's order in Florida that came out on October 22nd of 2020. Both orders are intended to address skilled nursing facilities. And I want to give a little update on some of the things that are super important about, how these two orders kind of intersect with each other. We know that Governor DeSantis's order was intended to work really together with the CMS order. And we have some belief that potentially CMS was communicating with the state of Florida related to their October 22nd order, and that they may have been working together because there does seem to be a lot of the same terminology used in both. What we have seen in the governor's order is a disappearance of what's called the essential care provider. And now we are using a new term, which is compassionate care visitor, which can be a bit of a misnomer. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what that compassionate care provider means. And I'm going to give you the actual definition. So the governor's order talks about compassionate care providers as being someone who provides support, including emotional support, to help residents deal with difficult transition or loss, upsetting events, end-of-life situations, significant changes such as recent admissions to the facility. Also, the need for assistance, cueing or encouraging with eating or drinking, or emotional distress or decline. So that's really a pretty broad definition of people that should be considered compassionate care providers. And with compassionate care providers, we know that they are allowed to have physical contact with our people, and that there can really be no restriction on contact, even if there's a COVID outbreak in their facility. There has to be allowance made for that compassionate care visitor to access the facility. Let me give you a couple of other tips. Visitation must be allowed in general, unless a reasonable clinical or resident safety issue is present. We know that for regular visitors, there will be a social distance requirement. And if visitors, in fact, don't comply with some of the restrictions, they can be prohibited from visiting. But with regard to compassionate care visitors, we know that they have to be allowed regardless of positivity rate, and regardless of facility onset of COVID-19 cases. And they have to be allowed to visit at all times during visiting hours, including evenings and weekends. Visitors must wear what's called a surgical mask, which means you can't wear like a bandana. It has to be an actual surgical mask, and PPE that's appropriate to healthcare workers. So you may have to actually get in the PPE that might cover your head, it might cover your body, there might be booties that you put over your shoes, but there is no social distancing, again, required with residents. Now, for nursing home facilities, it does say touching is allowed for a limited time, but limited is not defined, so we don't really know what that is. But, this is really important information, and I think it stresses again that in Florida, facilities, including skilled nursing facilities, need to be providing access. My suggestion for people is that if in fact you're having trouble accessing a loved one in a skilled nursing facility, or in a memory care unit, or an assisted living, or an independent living, if you are having trouble accessing your loved one, first of all, I would recommend that you contact the ombudsman, who is, you can go to the Department of Elder Affairs website and find out who your ombudsman is that's serving your region, and reach out to them and say, like, I'm having trouble. I know these are the rules and I'm not able to access my person. They have been incredibly helpful in helping us with our clients get in contact with their loved ones. And then I would say, if that is not helpful, or if your ombudsman says to you, like, hey, this is not working out, the facility's not cooperating, then you might want to push the ACA complaint button, and make a complaint to ACA, which is the Agency for Healthcare Administration in Florida, to say, hey, these people aren't complying with the governor's order, and that may give you the relief that you seek. I'm Shannon Miller. I hope these tips are helpful to you, and I hope that you're able to access your loved ones. But please be careful. Realize that if we bring virus into any facility, it could be devastating for our people and others. So just be super careful if you're going to go visit, and please comply with all the CDC rules and regulations, as well as the PPE guidelines, making sure that you answer the initial questions honestly. And obviously, if you've had contact with someone with the virus, then you make sure you don't go in. We're counting on you to help us keep our special people safe. And anyway, if we can be of help, if we can help advocate for you with regard to these issues or any other issues related to our seniors, please give us a call. I'm Shannon Miller with the Miller Elder Law Firm.